Welcome back, everybody. Last we left off in the adventure, you guys had successfully managed to escape the goblin dungeon, which had turned into a spider dungeon. And you were pursuing Ripley as she retreated, but she managed to evade you because she had a pretty potent flying speed. So you rested outside of the goblin dungeon, and now you are ready to go. What do you do?
First and foremost, get this out of the way. I am going to gather up the members of the party, so that we can stage an intervention for our dear friend Ramishton.
Oh yeah.
An
Let's
intervention? What do you mean? I've done nothing wrong. I
Ramishton, you
merely
risk
acted in my
And that's
self-interest, as do you.
and that's the
that's
problem.
you see that's the problem, Ramishton. What do you think it means to be in a team?
As I saw it, I was taking an action that would reduce the risk of my companions being harmed. A truce is beneficial to all involved. Had she decided to fight to the death, well, things might have ended poorly for Samwise's offspring, or perhaps yourself. As it stands, she fled, allowing us all to escape with our lives.
You see, the thing is, she fled because we kept fighting. That's the thing. And here's the you didn't answer my original question. So I asked you what do you think it means to be in a team. You acted in a way that you thought would be the best for everyone involved, rather than acting in the way that everyone involved had decided upon. You see where the disconnect is here?
I do
As a
not think that my
team,
actions during combat are a democracy. A warrior does not carefully swing his sword as directed by his commanding officer during the fight. He goes to the place he's been told to and does what he's been paid to do. You are not my commanding officer. We are merely
yes, that's the
teammates.
thing. Yes, we are teammates, Ramishton. The thing is, you a good soldier doesn't swing the sword precisely in the way that the commanding officer intends, but when the commanding officer tells them to swing the sword, they swing the sword. Now, I'm not
Indeed.
claiming to be your commanding officer. Indeed, my gripe isn't you could have chosen not to swing your sword at all, gone full pacifist, but your teammates were under the effect of a hostile spell, and you, instead of freeing them from the spell, chose to parlay with the offender in question.
Indeed, if
You
I'd
didn't know how
woken
to
you up,
hurt.
it would have ended in bloodshed. You would have immediately attacked. I was trying to avoid that course of action. The spell she'd cast did not hurt you, and if she decided to attack you, it would have snapped you out of it at once.
Yes, it would have snapped me out of it, and I would have gotten hit and gotten hurt. Yes, a situation that might not have occurred had I been woken up. But here's the thing: you say it would have ended in blood. The bloodshed had already started. Remember, Cirque, she began the attack. Cirque had managed to escape her. Basically, he had managed to get into a position where he wouldn't have to be what's the word? Taken advantage of by somebody who had blocked our exit. A hostile action, mind you, who had blocked our exit and refused to move unless we freely gave up items that were in our possession. Cirque said, "Okay, you don't need to move. I can get out myself," and then was promptly set upon in the attempt
Cirque
to
took a
kill.
position that could have been easily perceived as preparing to line up a bow shot on her. I was, if you recall, I was about to give up items in my own possession to secure our release before
She
the
refused
group.
them.
She did not. If I recall correctly, she was actually about to. She had accepted my terms when Cirque popped behind. She was about to send her boneman out to collect the items so that she would allow us to pass. If you had waited,
Regardless,
perhaps we could have even gotten a surprise on her as we passed by her. However, because my companions did not, I was not mad about it though. I did not expect others to follow my orders. I'm not your commander, just like you're not mine.
yes, and that's again, we're not going over the point. I already said I don't subscribe to all that authority nonsense. But the problem is, Cirque did not fire on her. She was actually no. There was no way for her to be threatened. She was contained within a wall of impenetrable force. If Sir could have
Okay.
attacked her,
All right. And as you feel a zone of truth being cast on both of you
Oh
guys.
god.
Keep going, keep
I'm
going.
telling the truth. I'm telling the truth.
As am I.
I will willingly fail.
Okay, you both
So-
willingly fail. Remember,
Now-
you cannot lie right now unless you do the saving throw. So just choose your words carefully.
Yeah, I willingly fail. Basically, as far as I know, there was no method of breaching that force bubble that she had possessed. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been a negotiation. We would have breached it and continued on our way. Now, forget the moral implications of what Ripley has done. She attacked us, a member of our party, to the point of near death while she was safe, and he had simply moved past an obstruction that she herself created. Then, in continuation, perhaps the undead reacted on their own. They had orders to protect her, and they viewed his actions as dangerous. He then proceeded to teleport back in, only to have her cast another hostile spell upon upon the rest of our group. Two hostile actions taken while we had no means of even directly attacking her. You then proceeded to attempt parley with somebody who was in an obviously stronger position and who we know has no qualms about killing innocents. You yourself attempted to dissuade her from this course of action by saying that we had children in this cave with us that would perish without her removing the barrier. She refused. Children.
I believe I said no such thing about the children. I did not mention them. I did not want to bring them into it for fear that she might take them hostage. Now, if you
yes.
recall, it is not... Why would I negotiate if I was in a stronger position? The reason I sought to parley with her was because Cirque was in danger, we were in danger, she was a powerful spellcaster. It was in our best interest to avoid a conflict with such a person and be out of the dungeon expediently. I had secured a method for doing so, and I wish to re-establish negotiation.
My friend, there was no means of again, I wish to reiterate, she had already initiated combat. You were
wrong.
The conflict had already begun. No, the attack by Cirque. Again, even if we completely ignore all the hostile actions she's taken, blocking our escape, attempting to extort us, and the attack on Cirque, all of which could be maybe by some stretch of the imagination, could be construed as coincidental. She then walked out of her barrier. A mistake, I'm sure. Walked out of her barrier and then cast that hostile spell. Forgetting everything else, she again continued to escalate conflict. At that point, diplomacy has already broken down. There is no avoiding combat. Combat has already begun. And in that situation, in a situation between teammates that trust each other, it is always, and I mean always, expected that you choose the teammate over the attempting to renegotiate or avoid conflict, because avoiding conflict is already off the table. Negotiations can only be fair between two equal parties. Otherwise, one of them is extorting the other. With the majority of our party incapacitated, and only one or maybe two of us, yes, I believe it was Cirque, Lucien, and you. Cirque already heavily injured, Lucien unable to do anything after spending his action to wake you up, as would be expected from a teammate. There's three of you versus her. I believe it was 6 undead and her as a caster. At that point, why not simply knock you out and take everything you have? There was no way. There was no way to negotiate here. You chose her. You chose her other than your teammates, and that is a problem, man. I cannot travel with someone I can't know has my back if shit hits the fan. Shit hit the fan, and you didn't have my back. That's wrong. That's just wrong. Like, please, I point at my party members. Tell me, am I Am I being unreasonable here? Is it wrong to expect my party member to have my back in a situation where any one of us could die?
My friend, you're
You're
quite
not.
upset, and you've gone on so long. I have not. There have been many things I've wanted to say, but you've said so much, I've forgotten what I was going to say. I can respond to your most recent things, but in civilized conversation, it's often good to allow the person you're talking to a chance to respond. Otherwise, you get far away from the point.
I apologize. As you can tell, I have some strong feelings on this matter.
I will
I
hear the rest of
apologize
my
for.
companion's thoughts before I speak, if you wish to speak, friends. But know that what Cider has said about me is incorrect in many ways.
Daddy, can I tell
Yeah,
you? Daddy,
Wolf would like to speak, but he's got a tiny voice in his head at the moment.
Let's go first.
Well, I was merely going to say that I was trying to. It was because you were incapacitated and in danger that I thought it would be prudent to secure a peaceful solution. And you're wrong when you say she wasn't listening. She was quite prepared to negotiate with me and even attempted to do so again in the midst of the fight. It was because my companions would not cooperate and insisted on continuing the attack that negotiations did not occur. And once I realized this, I of course joined the fight. My attempts to negotiate, although indeed I was interested as well in my own safety, I am self-interested certainly. I also saw it as the best way to avoid risking bloodshed of my companion's blood. Because we were in a weaker position and she seemed willing to negotiate, I attempted to take advantage of that. It did not work out, but I do not feel as though I've acted against the interests of the party. Perhaps the interests of you, as you're more interested in revenge than the safety of your companions, but that is all I have to say. I
All
hold
right.
it against you, not at all.
I will be. I have a rebuttal for that particular statement. See, if I was more interested in revenge, I would not have stuck to the plan. The plan, of course, being to spend your actions waking up those closest to those who would take their combat next after you. She was well within range when my turn rolled around, but rather than fire off a spell, as I'm wont to do, should I be lost to rage, I followed the plan. My team, me and my teammates had come to an agreement that the what's it called, that we are to wake each other up from the spell. Again, you say, like I said, we were in a weaker position, meaning of course that trying to negotiate at that point would be foolhardy. That weaker position could have been rectified in 6 seconds had you stuck to the plan, which I
What
again
plan do you
attempted to
speak of? A plan that occurred in your mind? I'm afraid that you were swaying and not speaking at all. I did not hear you say anything. What plan do you speak of everyone planning to slap the person on their turn? What is this turn you speak of? Combat is a chaotic rush where everyone acts at the same time.
Indeed, it is, but I recall my friend Cirque and my friend Lucian saying, "Wake up those nearest to you as they rushed, and rather than protecting their own lives, as Lucian, I would not hold Lucian for attempting to a out of what's it called within cover as he had been grievously wounded. He instead started wake. He went and I believe woke Lucian up from the turn. Lucian, what's it called? Then told Lucian his plan, of course, which being Lucian woke you up and then told you to wake me up. Again, I might have been incapacitated. I wasn't struck deaf. I could still hear. Now,
Indeed.
Lucian told you to wake me up, but instead of waking me up, you went and you went to on your own initiative parlay again while we were still in the weaker position. Now, if you had woken me up and I would have woken Dark Wolf up, Dark Wolf wakes up Silas. Silas wakes up Ortegon. We would have been right back where we started. Actually, we would have been in a rather stronger position because Cirque had left. Cirque had left a. I believe it was a. what was it, thorns, spike growth behind, thereby immobilizing most of the attackers she had sent to him. Now, here's the thing.
Oh,
Here's the
you're not
thing.
done.
I do
Go
not
on.
say. Oh, if you wish to speak, go ahead. This is merely an addendum because I believe
Oh,
I have
very
said
well.
everything I could possibly say.
I would merely say that yes, you were correct that we would have been more militarily strong had we all been awake. However, in that case, you might have felt it impossible to escape. As you say, you could have prevented it. If her escape had been trapped, well, my friend, a cornered animal will fight to the death. As it stands, she did not cast any more spells against us, merely using all of her power to escape. Who knows what she would have done if she had been cornered and forced to fight? The children could have been harmed, my friend.
Hmm. The children were. I will not lie. Maybe she has some spell I've never seen before that might have harmed them despite their far proximity from the battle. However, we don't. We you are a martial man, and I am a man of science. We do not deal in maybes and could haves and should haves. We deal in
It seems you're
what
doing
we
that right now.
uh indeed. I didn't want to though. I don't enjoy this sort of conflict. Now we are not
But it
at least
seems your
at least we are
emotion
not
compels
meant
you
to.
into it.
Indeed, we are not meant to deal in those sorts of things. We are meant to deal with what we see in front of us, leaving the hypotheticals to when our lives are not in danger. Now, I feel that you were basically it comes down to this. I feel that you were wrong in not in rather than aiding your ailing party members to attempt diplomacy with somebody who has our
Well, as
newer
I
companions
saw it,
weren't there. Oh, sorry. Continue.
diplomacy was the best way to aid my alien companions. I know you felt differently, and Cirque did as well. However, in the moment, it seemed the best way to help my friends. And
Ah,
myself, of course.
and there's the thing. If both me and Cirque felt that
And
what's it called
Wolf.
felt that and Wolf felt that diplomacy was not the correct way in a good team structure, some what's it called those in the minority would what's the word, consider the benefits of the group. Like, I'm sure you would feel wronged now. You yourself would feel wronged if uh, I recall negotiating with the guilds and they attempted to take all of your wealth and property as collateral for one of my investments. If I had allowed that, would you not have felt wronged, even though it would have been in my interest? And I believe that that even with your items as collateral, it would have what's it called? The mine would have benefited all of us. But if now, see, if you would have felt wronged if I had you put you up as collateral too, would you not? Despite it serving some of our interests.
I did not put you up as collateral, my friend. I merely tried to
No, no,
secure
no.
your safety.
Yes, but that's the
You put
thing.
us all up
Ooh,
as collateral.
The only thing I was offering was my own magic items. I did not offer your lives. I was trying to trade her escape, or potential of it, for us not having to fight her.
again,
I traded her
I'm not
life.
gonna.
That is the only one I offered as collateral.
Sorry, you
If you viewed
misunderstand
her
me.
as such a threat, then how did you know that she would not kill us after taking all your items?
Well, before I've made a truce with her, and she seemed quite happy to escape with her own life. I know that she views us as a dire threat.
And
That does not
there's the
make
thing.
her not a danger, of course. It is the threatened who are dangerous the most. However, by making us not a threat to her, by allowing her to escape, well, we had children on our hands to watch after. It was a good time to allow her to escape, I thought.
See, here's the thing. The
The
problem with that,
children were not in any danger.
Have you
we
seen
can
the
argue
spell
about.
Fireball? It can fly half the length of a battlefield and explode, killing a whole group of armed men. They were well within range of such a spell.
I will
They were
assume.
safely protected by the wall. Unless she
Oh,
literally was just going to target the children.
hold on for
Perhaps you're
just a
more of an
minute.
expert on magic than I am.
Hold on for just a minute, my friends. We could argue the benefits or potential downsides of his actions ad infinitum and gain nothing. Here again, here is a problem that can't simply be argued away for with good or bad. You see, you you yourself, you brought it up. You are not, neither am I, or is anyone in this group, a commanding officer. So therefore, you do not. There is no right for you to decide what is best for the group by yourself, especially when the conflicting opinions are 3 to 1.
I
You,
hate
you
to
do not
say it,
know
but I'm
Ortegon's
not a
opinion. You do not
drone
know.
controlled by public opinion. I will do as I see fit, as do you. Often I try to act as I am told to by others, but when I see a course of action is wise, I follow it.
Yes, and that's the
And
problem, my friend.
consistently, you are unwise in your decisions.
You-
So that
If
Well,
you
argument
in your
makes no
reckoning,
sense.
I do not think myself unwise.
Of
Permission,
course you don't.
if you consistently and and unabashedly work against the interest of the group by what's it
But I
called
did
by
not.
considering your act. Yes, you did.
This is not the first time.
Not
Three
now.
three members of the party, say maybe two, Ortegon, Silas. Ortegon and Silas were neutral, undecided. They had no vendetta against the uh, Ripley. Me,
Very well.
Wolf,
Let's get to the
and
point
Cirque
here.
had a vendetta. What's it called? Two neutral, four attacking her, one against attacking her. If you work against the interests of the group, how can you continue to be a member of the group?
Well, as I see it, we are a good company and we have fought battles successfully in the past. However, I know better than to serve beside people who do not wish to see me. And so, if you insist, I will find work elsewhere. It has been good and a profitable experience traveling beside you. However, if you do not desire to have my services anymore, that is understandable.
Don't jump
I will
to
not hold it
conclusions.
against you, and I'll still consider you a friend if I see you again.
Ramishton, I do not wish you to leave the group. What's it called? When your head is on straight, you are nothing but a boon to us. But I need you to promise that you will that rather than considering only your own perspective, you will try to consider what everyone what's it called? At least if not mine, but the will of the group as a whole when taking your actions.
I did consider it, but combat is not a vote. One does not vote every second and decide, the group collectively decides what somebody's going to do. A battle is quick, it is over in moments. The group does not have time to elect a course of action in such a situation. One must act independently and do as they see fit.
Yes, but there is such a thing as following somebody's lead. Say now you were on a battlefield, the battle line spanned a mile or more, and so you were out of the hearing distance of your commanding officers. If what's it called? Say you saw your officer riding away from the front, being followed by all what's it called by all your compatriots. Would it would it should not be a stretch to assume that there is a retreat going on, and thus you follow their lead. You had two
Of
leads
course.
that you could follow. You had Cirque
I'm still
and you had
alive,
Lucy.
am I not? I would not be if I did not have a head on straight.
Exactly. I feel you've taken my words a little too literally. Um, Irrelevant though. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
My
I
meaning
don't
being that I've
feel that
survived many
anyone.
battles, friend. My instincts are what direct me during combat, and in that moment my instincts told me that parley was the safest option.
I mean,
We
I've
might need
seen
to get
you
your
on the
instincts
battlefield
yours.
to the point of falling off your horse, and you did not parlay. And yet here you stand, perfectly unwounded, And you wanted to parlay.
All right, guys.
Your words speak circles.
I want to ask for
No, you.
Pie God or Ortegon and Sleepy and Silas to jump in here if you guys want to. You guys have been conspicuously silent for a little bit.
Well, regarding this matter, that woman, I don't quite know her, but she was willing to forsake the lives of children and threaten us. If I was neutral with her before, after our first little interaction, I certainly could not view her as a good person. I felt we had the means of overpowering her. So if we had worked together in an attempt to attack her, to put bluntly,
So,
we could have put a stop to whatever evils she was up to. Someone who's willing to forsake the lives of children surely can't be a good person.
Well said, and my apologies then. Next time we see her, I'll be sure to assist you in defeating her.
Is that a truth? Zone of truth? Is that true?
And about the zone of truth, I suppose you can't be like true because you don't know what you'll be like in that moment. But in this moment, at least, Remission is truthfully saying that in the future he would be willing to attack her.
No, that's
I-
more than enough.
Look at
That's
the
more than
young
enough for
whippersnapper.
really.
I think the young whippersnapper had good intentions, even if it didn't line with the party. As long as we work together in the future, ain't nothing stopping us.
Oh yeah.
That was. Thank you, Remishton. That was all that I wanted. Of course, none of us actually died, and so I don't believe there would be any lasting consequences. But as long as you give your word that you will that at least for Ripley, that this sort of thing will not happen, that this sort of thing will not happen again, then there's no ill will. I trust. At the very least, I trust that you would not actively work against us, not after everything we've been through. And so, I apologize if I sounded maybe a little bit more belligerent than I wanted to come off as. Cipher will extend his hand for a handshake.
Remission takes it, smiling. I understand. I know that she's one that you feel personally about. I'm sorry for opposing your feelings in the moment.
Your apologies accepted, my friend, and I'm sorry too. Anyway, we've wasted enough time out in the woods talking. I have an appointment to keep.
All right, 200
Let's,
plus 269 experience for everybody for good roleplay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Henrik has gifted some inspiration. Well done, you guys. Great roleplay. I'm gonna go ahead and give each of you guys game nights. Where is Henrik? Henrik won.
I appreciate your flexibility, Reneshkin.
You guys are the
Um,
main players in the debate, so I'll give it to you. All right, and at that, Cirque, we will
Yeah.
take a short break and we'll come right back.